Daily Dive for FantasyAlarm.com. I'm your host, Ray Flowers. Let's start with the number 3, as in the number of home runs hit on Sunday by Danny Valencia of the Athletics. Wow, is he hot. That is now 5 home runs in 3 games for the A's slugger. Never hit more than 18 home runs in a season in his career, and per 162 games for his career, he's hit 270 with an average of 17 home runs. He simply is not profile, at least wise, as a guy that's going to hit 30 home runs this season, despite what we're seeing here. Even getting to 25 is a little bit of a stretch. His fly ball ratio is about 35%. It's not a very big mark, meaning he's really got to depend upon a very high home run to fly ball ratio. It was 22% last year. If he can approximate that again this year, got a chance, obviously, to hit those 25-plus home runs. But that's a big number. I'm very dubious that he'll be able to do that. We've seen already this year his inability to stay on the field consistently. Still questions about the splits as well. Danny Valencia, a very good hitter. I don't think he's taking the next step in 2016. If he's on your squad, though, don't have much hesitation to use him, especially in the short term. He is smoking hot right now for the Athletics. The next number is 11. It's the number of home runs hit this season by Giancarlo Stanton of the Marlins after hitting another home run on Sunday. Now, over his last 109 games played going back to the start of last year, 109 games, we have 38 home runs for Stanton, a massive number. In those 108 games, however, we also have 139 strikeouts. Another massive number. Over that 109-game period, Stanton's hitting 256. This year, he's below 240. Giancarlo Stanton is a very flawed player. He might be exciting. He might be the best power hitter in baseball. He might hit 50 home runs this year. Totally possible. But he also has big holes in his game. The batting average is going to be there. And as I pointed out time and time again when talking about Stanton, he's averaged missing over 45 games each of the last 4 seasons. Has to prove he can stay on the field. Has to prove that he can do something other than strike out every 3 at-bats if he wants that batting average to be any higher than the 260s. And then the final number is 0. It's the number of games caught by Evan Gattis in 2015 at the big league level, and at this point in 2016. Why do I bring that up? Well, because on Sunday, the Astros brought back up Evan Gattis from the minors. Now, the plan is for him to be the backup, not the starter at catcher for the Astros, folks, the backup to Jason Castro. Now, Jason Castro is not very good, I'll admit that, can't hit at all, but he is a much better defensive catcher than Gattis. We know that Gattis can do one thing very well, that's power the baseball, 27 home runs, 88 RBIs last season. So they really would like to get that offense, I bet, on the field. But the fact is, Gattis is a very flawed defensive player. He always has been. That's why he was taken out of the catcher's position and moved to the outfield and DH, because the team realized he wasn't good defensively. It's uncertain how long it will take him to get work behind the dish. I don't know what your league setup is. Maybe you have a 1-game qualification for a defensive position. Maybe it's 5, maybe it's 10, maybe it's 15 or 20. Take a close look there. If we've got Gattis catching maybe once a week, maybe, and we've got, Castro catching the rest of the time, it's going to take a month in the majority of fantasy leagues before Gattis qualifies at catcher, and that's before we can start worrying about where he is at. Because as a hitter to this point, really slow start after the offseason surgery on his groin. It's 570 OPS through 20 games. He hasn't looked good at all. Gattis, an intriguing power option, though it might be a while before you can utilize him as a catcher in the fantasy game.